Dreams, death is all I see. Another day, and these demons almost won this fight. Had my gun to my head, contemplating suicide. Another day, when the fuck would this pain subside? Will I ever find peace in this life of mine? Another day, as I stared at myself through the mirror, I looked into my eyes as I pulled the trigger. Another day, my blood playing Russian roulette. I felt the Lord save the life of this Mexican. Another day, losing a lot to gain. I felt my life needed one big drastic change. Another day to begin, I can't tell. Another day. You can't take me whether parents dead or in jail. In this life of war, only time will tell. You came up in a motherfucking block, trying to set up shop and avoid the fucking cops. Spot where the violence don't stop. In your face, fuck. If you catch a life of hell, whether parents dead or in jail. In this life of war, only time will tell. You came up in a if you catch a life of hell, whether parents dead or in jail. In this life of war, only time will tell. You came up in a motherfucking block, trying to set up shop and avoid the fucking cops. Spot where the violence don't stop. In your face, fuck. If you catch a life of hell, whether parents dead.
Just 1, 2. Hey. 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey. We got Commander Junior Hunter in the building. Y'all better make some motherfucking noise. Y'all better make some noise. Cuidan los míos, orgullosamente me exatamos locos de remate. Ya que mate, no hable de volar si viene gateando. Esa por la frontera se puede tan en tengo toda la raza calando de tiros y allá la muerte peleando. Y la sangre en la frente, los de alzada controlándose, robar la atención. Ya saben quiénes son, vatos locos con sazón, como el de un corridón. No quiera tomarme el pelo siendo todo pelón, levantando la bandera. Hold on. Hey. It's a feeling.
Mind gunshots to the wind, homies there to do it time. It's a past that could never be changed. I think the end to pay my bills and to fucking maintain. How to explain when your life is in pain and you hide your feelings, snorting lines of cocaine. Still I came about this motherfucking hell when the land would crash still. So boy in jail still. We still over in motherfucking jail. How the fuck did I survive? I can't fucking tell. Another day to the highest in fire. All alone! Peace, even in my dreams, death is all I see. Another day, and these demons almost won this fight. Had my gun to my head, contemplating suicide. Another day, when the fuck will this pain subside? Will I ever find peace in this life of mine? Another day, as I stared at myself through the mirror, I looked into my eyes as I pulled the trigger. Another day, my love playing Russian roulette. I felt the Lord save the life of this Mexican. Another day, losing a lot to gain. I felt my life needed one big drastic change. Another day to begin, I can't stay the same. Almost put a motherfucking bullet to my brain. Another day, here I am, a changed fucking man, trying to make a living. Hope you understand. Another day, too much blood in my motherfucking hands. What's the life and curse of this young Mexican? Another day,
how do you stop bullies?
I'm going to send you to school. I'm going to teach you to say something to a bully that's going to make them cry. They're going to cry in school. They're going to run and tell the teacher because you are going to hurt their feelings. They're going to be so shocked and so hurt because you are going to see who they are. You're going to talk about their mother and their father. You're going to talk about their life.
Her name is Elia.
Elia. And what city do you live in?
California.
California. Give California a hand. Elia. And she's a bully. Now, what do you think? Now, she's mean, right? What do you think her mother is? Just take a guess. Meaning, she's 8 years old and she's mean. Do you think her mother is nice? What do you think her mother is? Mean. Now, now here we go now. Who is her mother mean to?
Her.
Give her a hand. Now, the next time you go to school, you're going to tell Elia how mean her mother is to her. You're going to say, I know why you're mean to me, because your mother calls you names. Your mother hates you. Your mother doesn't love you. Your mother has a lot of men coming in and out your house. Your mother treats you bad. Your mother hates you because your mother wished she didn't have you. Your mother, and Elia is going to run and cry, and then she'll know to stay away from the daughters of Zion in this school. You understand? Now come get some money. Also, any of you children out there, if you got a bully in school, call the Hablo con Solidarity Capitan. Tell your camp leader, we'll send some young brothers down to your school. We'll send them down to your school to talk to your bully for you, all right? Send them down there. They'll be all right. We'll handle it. There's some 16-year-old brothers in here that will perform their duty. There's some 12-year-olds in here that will perform their duty. If you got a bully in school, where's that 17-year-old brother from Florida? Your name again. If someone calls you down to their school because they have a bully, will you perform your duty? I believe you will. Like, I believe you'll do it, huh?
How do you stop bullies?
I'm going to send you to school. I'm going to teach you to say something to a bully that's going to make them cry. They're going to cry in school. They're going to run and tell the teacher because you are going to hurt their feelings. They're going to be so shocked and so hurt because you are.
Tell me what you see in these pictures. You see native and Hispanic boys having their hair cut off. Now that's a problem. This image is not just showing their hair being cut off. It's showing their identity being taken from them by force. That's what it's showing you. You see that chalkboard? That chalkboard in the background was for a Native American to get up who don't know a lick of English to pick a name. And whatever name they pointed at was their family name from now on. So what you're seeing in these Indian boarding schools, this is images, real images. It's not AI. All right. More images. Now, you have Native Americans living in their land, living in their culture, doing what they do as the children of Israel, right? And then Europeans, you know who I'm talking about, Europeans come over here, gunning us down, forcing us on reservations, and then saying that the reservations are not suitable for us to raise children on. And then what do? Force them in boarding schools where it was a grand attempt to annihilate Native American culture and assimilate them into American culture, right? But what was the number one tool? What is the theme you seeing in these pictures? Who is cutting that young man's hair? Who is cutting his hair? That's a Catholic nun. I want you to tell me what you see in these pictures. You see native and Hispanic boys having their hair cut off. Now that's a problem. This image is not just showing their hair being cut off. It's showing their identity being taken from them by force. That's what it's showing you. You see that chalkboard? That chalkboard in the background was for a Native American to get up.
Negros, indios nativos somos los verdaderos israelitas. ¿Esto dónde lo dice? Esto dice en la Biblia.
show that Puerto Ricans love America, but that ain't reality. Police attack was planned beforehand. Only white cops were assigned.
Then our only recourse is to defend ourselves.
We tried to move people onto the sidewalk, but the police were all out for blood.
Another series of protests was staged by thousands of students, parents, and the Brown Berets. In June 1968, the group that had become known as the East LA 13 was released on bail.
Demonstrate to our people and we deserve better and that we could, get better. I don't think there's ever been a time when we need more of the spirit of the young lords than today.
I guess we had no fear. We just did what we thought at the time was the right thing to do.
National captain of the Black Panther Party. They are making it their business to process arresting me and my wife, to a process arresting numerous Panthers on the block.
Police just went in and started beating them viciously. It was ugly. They were just yelling at us, you dirty spicks, dirty Mexicans, who do you think you are?
Yeah. What's going down, Rasa? Right here too. No, so like y'all hear me? Mic check 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me? I don't want.
Con, I hear you up.
Okay. Orale, what's going down? Israel Shalom. Rasa, we're here another night. We're back at it again with the inconvenient truth. Of course, I got with me always, as always, it's an honor to be up here with these carnales right here. Got Mighty Priest and Officer 5000, Officer Lahab.
Hey, Shalom Israel, how about you get them?
También I got with me, Mighty Priest and Officer 5000, Kamada. Oh, so like I'm getting a lot of background noise. Hey, yo, sure. And then, of course, I myself, Priest and Officer 1000, Malakma, all of us reporting live out of Sur Khalifa, Southern California, occupied territory. And of course, this is the inconvenient truth. And of course, the topic we're going to talk tonight, as I titled tonight's episode, Trump as Jesus, Power, Politics, and the Latino Faith Debate. So what more can we say about what's going on out there right now, man? Y'all seen the AI images of Donald Trump as Jesus Christ. And then y'all, of course, this is, I want to say an interactive show. If y'all got any opinions, comments, questions, type of men, let us know what you think. What do y'all think about Donald Trump and what he did with that AI image? So like, sir, did you want to say anything?
No, y'all got it. You got it.
How about you, Officer Kamada? You want to say something? Oh, did it freeze? Okay, I think his signal, he might have froze.
Kamada?
Officer Kamada, can you hear us?
No, I think he did freeze. Looks like he's not on.
Freeze. Yeah, no sweat.
If you could post up the picture of the white Jesus.
Of
Donald Trump being Jesus, same thing.
I mean, right, practically the same thing. So let me get it really quick. And yeah, man, this thing went viral all over the internet.
I think he had posted it right and then took it down.
Okay. Oh, he took it down. Right,
it was only up for a little bit, and then I think the picture had got taken down.
Okay, Khan. It's ironic, right, that he goes and does that, and it shows what is it? What's that saying, sir? A picture's worth 1,000 words.
Right.
So like I gotta go through all these images.
I mean, he is the savior for white people.
Right. He's their Jesus out of one.
Yep. That's their Jesus. That's their hero. That's their savior.
Their savior. He was. I always said right. I always said right. Like he was. White people's Barack Obama. You know, and here because, of course, when Barack Obama got elected president, right, everyone thought there was a. You know, we had finally done it. We had gotten past racism, right? So-called black people thought that was their savior. People called them the what is it? The resurrection of Jesus Christ, right? They called him Christ. They thought he was going to save black people, man. Well, why do y'all think white people voted for Donald Trump the way they did? Because they knew that he was going to be, you know, he was going to be their savior. Right. And I'm pretty sure a lot of white people loved that image. I'm pretty sure a lot of white people got that image in their living room, sir, of Donald Trump ever since that image came out. This is the image I'm talking about. Found it. Let me share it. Here we go. Salakia. Oh. Let's go back. All right. You see it?
Yeah, I see it right there. Yup. That's
Look
the image
at that.
right there. That's the one that he posted up. He out there. I think he said he wasn't trying to be Jesus. I think he was trying to say that he's a doctor or something like that. But he got the same robe like white Jesus.
Right. He got the same robe like white Jesus, like Cesar Borgia.
He's the way he puts his hand on the head.
Yeah, right. The way he's putting his hand on him, right? And then look at the image. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
No, I was gonna add this too. Like, look who he's healing. He don't have no brown faces on there. So for those of you that were Latinos for Trump, you know, there are Mexicans that are hardcore Donald Trump supporters. He didn't put you in his image of him healing you. You know, he put all white folks. I don't know if he get any closer than that, but if you can, it's all right.
I'll also see.
You know, but yeah, those are all white folks that he's healing.
Right.
So even as hard as we are for Donald Trump, at least, you know, the Mexicans that go hard for Donald Trump and go all out supporting him, the ones that say go back to Mexico, if you're gonna come here, do it the right way, come here legally.
Right.
All the you that are join the ICE force, ICE agents, you know, support ICE. He didn't include you in this image.
Right, sir.
You know.
Yeah, it's all right there. Look at all the white people.
All the white people here right there healing.
Right. Even the military and everything. And it's crazy because what's the majority of the military? A lot of Latinos and Native Americans and black people join the military, risk their lives, their limbs, their sanity for America, man. Right. And you know, so like Kamada, we got you back. So like you having some technical difficulties?
I believe so. Can you
hear us, Kamada?
Clear?
You're coming in clear, but I hear a lot of background noise. Yeah, we can hear you. It sounds like you got a lot of background noise, Karna.
Yeah, I don't know what. Oh, so lucky. I don't know what it is then.
It's not a lot of background noise, but we can hear the background.
Right. No sweat.
Can we get let's get a scripture to get Obadiah 1:3.
Come on, concert.
We'll start off with that. Because we already know that Donald Trump, he a proud bastard, you know.
Right,
this image itself shows, like, you know, his pride. Even though we know that white Jesus is you know, isn't anything, but in his mind, he thinks that he's Jesus.
Right.
So we're going to the scripture showing you of Donald Trump's pride, white people's pride. You know, they're a race of people that are extremely you know, they're prideful about their country, their flag, the eagle, you know, their military, and they look at everybody else as inferior, you know, where everybody else is less than them, especially Hispanics, especially Latinos, Mexicans, Central Americans, Salvadorians, people from Guatemala and Honduras and Nicaragua and Colombia, and people from Venezuela. the people from the islands and black people and Native American Indians. He look at us as like, you know, nothing. You don't look at us as human beings, as people. So now we can read Obadiah 1. I can't read it from right here.
So I got you right now, the one. This is
okay.
the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
Stop right there. So the pride of his heart has deceived him. You know what I'm saying? Like this cat right here, he's so proud. You know what I'm saying? Like he don't think that he don't think that the U.S. can get beat. He don't think that, you know, he don't even think he can get removed from office.
Right, right.
Like he think he's just gonna keep running the show. He can just take over countries. You know what I'm saying? Like he think I was going to Venezuela and I'll replace the president from Venezuela. I'll go to El Salvador. I'll go to Mexico. I'll just take whatever I want. And that's what he was saying about the Strait of Hormuz, however you say
the Strait, right, the Strait of Hormuz.
We'll just go take the oil.
Right.
We'll just go over there and take it. You know, but that's the spirit of white people. Like we'll just go take it. You know what I'm saying? We'll do what we want. That's what they did with America. We'll just go take America. We'll just go take the land. Even though there's people living there already, we'll just go take it. And we'll make a country of our own. And we'll say that land was not in, like, you know, nobody was living on the land. Or it was just a bunch of land that wasn't being used. You know?
Right,
and then unalive thousands of Native American Indians and unalive thousands of Mexicans, unalive thousands of Central Americans. You know? To you know what I'm saying, for his own benefit. So he says, who shall bring me down to the ground? In his mind, in his heart, he says, who shall bring me down? Meaning what? He's saying, like, ain't no one gonna touch me. Who's gonna do it? Who's gonna be the one to bring me down? That's how prideful he is, how proudful he is. Let's keep going.
Come on. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord.
Boom. You know what I'm saying? This is an Obadiah, this is a prophecy, right? And this man right here, his symbol is the eagle. You know what I'm saying? You can see that on the American flag. You can see that on the dollar bill, right? That's America's symbol.
Right.
His symbol is the eagle. You gotta be in class to understand these scriptures, to understand these prophecies. You ain't gonna learn this in church.
Right.
You know, you ain't gonna learn this in no Christian church. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna learn this like in here in the Israelite school UPK.
Right.
You know, who shall bring me down? The Lord is gonna bring down America. The Lord is gonna bring down Donald Trump. The Lord is gonna bring down this kingdom and this nation. That's who's gonna bring them down.
Right.
And like, if you think that America gonna last forever, man, you a fool. You know what I'm saying? I think even today, like now, white people don't even believe that this country is gonna last forever. There's a lot of white people that can see that. Damn, this country's going. You know how white folks be. Oh, this country's going to shit. You know,
right? That's why they voted for Donald Trump, sir. Salakia.
Oh no, you got it. Go ahead.
No, I said that's why they voted for Donald Trump. That was his whole thing: make America great again.
And they were deceived because that's what he said. And for a minute, they thought that America was going to be great again. And now they're looking at it like, oh, damn, we're going straight to the Middle East to go fight. Now we're about to head to World War III. They're talking about now you're going to be automatically drafted into the military by what, December?
Right.
By December. They're just going to put you on that list for the draft. You no longer have to fill out that form. You don't got to fill out that form no more and send it out. You're just going to be automatically on that list.
Right.
Because that's what you headed to. You headed to that World War III, to that Third World War. You know? And guess what? Donald Trump is not going to send his son to that war. You know, and his son qualified for that. I think, how old is his son? Like 20, 21, 22, around there, early 20s? He can go to that war. but he ain't gonna send his son. You know what he gonna do? He gonna send all you Latinos to that war. Whenever a war break out, you Latinos that voted for Trump, y'all gonna be the first one sent out there to go fight.
Right.
You know, but he ain't gonna send his son because he want his son to live. But you, he don't give a damn about you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're gonna go fight that war. You're gonna lose your legs, lose your arms. You're gonna lose your life for a country that don't give a damn about you. And you know, there's a lot of Hispanic veterans that will say the same thing. There's a lot of Latino veterans that will say, "Man, I went and fought for this country, came back, and man, they didn't give me a goddamn thing."
Right.
Looks like you. Go ahead. I'll pass it to the next brother. Are you?
Salaki, Commandant. Go ahead, Kanan.
Yeah, am I? Do I still have the background noise? Is it 12 now?
Nah, you good now. You good now, sir.
Okay, I was gonna say, if you could give me the book of Matthew 24:5. You know what I mean? Because that's one thing that Christ Himself warned us about. Christ Himself warned us about people claiming.
I got it right here. Whenever you're ready, sir.
Yeah, if you could read it, Malakma.
Khan. That's the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 5. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many.
So many. Christ warned us. This is when he was at the Mount Olive, and his disciples came to him, and he says, "What will be the signs of the end of time?" And Christ warning them, right? He's trying to put them for the sign. This is one of the signs that Christ Himself gave. And many shall come in His name, saying that He is the Christ, and see many. And when you look at this image, right, you got a man who's portraying himself to, heal the sick. He's growing in power. He's surrounded by, like heavenly imagery, and he's positioned like a savior over people. But the thing that Officer Laha pointed out is like you don't have Black and Hispanics in that image. Like, he's, the settlers' savior. That's why he's a good leader for his own people, because you understand, and that's a visual, language saying that he is Christ. He doesn't have to say, "Oh, I'm Christ." You understand? The image, the symbolism is saying that he is Christ, and that's what he warned us. It would just be people saying it out loud. It'll be people presenting themselves into, a role. You understand? And that's psychological warfare. You understand? And it makes people feel like he's chosen and that he's sent. He's the one to save us. Now, if I could, I gotta, because there's another thing too that Donald, I don't know if you remember, General Hyman was breaking down that they were warning the troops that this is a biblical, that the war is prophetic. Let's get the video, and I would like to share it.
So you posted the video in the chat?
Salakia, if I don't get the video,
no sweat.
No, I didn't. I was gonna share my screen because I just found it.
You got Salakia, sir. Go right ahead. Meanwhile, you get that. Let me shout out the chat real quick, man. We got young man Victor in here.
I yield. Yeah, if you want to get that.
Come. I was gonna shout out the chat real quick. Let me shout y'all out real quick. Young man Dennis, Shalom Karnal, the sister Patarawana, Shalom sis. The the brother Victor, the Canal Victor, you know, met you at the Passover. Hey, Shalom Carnal. You know, we got young man Jesse from San Diego. Hey, Shalom Carnal. You know, who else we got up in here? We got Michael Love up in here, man. Hey, Shalom Carnal, Lord, you know. Yabashim Brakata to all of y'all. Yahabashim Shabrakata to the Carnales. Yabashim Bashim Yabashim to the Mujeres. The water for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe. If y'all got any comments, you know, any questions y'all want to share with us, you know, anything you want to share or ask, go ahead and hit that link and ask your question or share your comment, man. But so like, sir, you ready? You got it? Oh, did he drop out?
No, I'm right here, Carnal. I think loading it up.
All right, no sweat.
Made it wrong.
No problem.
Do you see it? I shared it. It's right here. You just have to present it. Okay, Carnal.
Yeah, it's
It's not playing it. I'm gonna send it to you.
Oh, there we go. It's right there. See it?
Can you play it? If not, I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Okay, let me see if I can play it. Oh, you uploaded it on the See.
Oh, okay, Salakia. Let me play.
Yeah, you gotta play on your end.
Yeah, Salakia.
No sweat.
You know what, Malak, just continue. I'm gonna put it in the chat.
All right, no problem. Yeah, meantime. So it says Trump's military leaders calling Iran war God's plan for second coming of Jesus. Good night, man. You know what, sir? If I could, Abshalaha, you see that he said that, right? Is he on to something? I don't want. That's my question. Is he on to something?
Okay, it says God's plan.
Yeah, God's plan, right? Hold on, Salakia. It said God's plan is So like, let's see, Al-Shakamada just sent it to me. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna share right here.
Did you? I put the video in the.
Right, yeah, I got it. Yeah,
in the chat.
Count concert. I got it right now.
Okay,
let's see. I think it should be good right now.
All right, go on.
This one. There we go. All right.
And defending our secular firewall under our Constitution against Christian nationalism. Big breaking news today. There's a nonprofit organization called the Military Religious Freedom Foundation that has been flooded with complaints from our troops that officers are telling them that this war with Iran is part of biblical prophecy, that Donald Trump has been anointed by God, and that we are manifesting.
And if I could, while you're getting there, once again,
to hasten the second coming of Jesus Christ. This is exactly the kind of religious extremism.
He told us, he warned us that this would happen.
Was designed
not just
to
false
protect
teachers,
us from.
but men being lifted up.
Unfortunately, what we're hearing with today's news, which is not all that surprising to people like me that are in the trenches fighting for true religious freedom, is that we now have this biblical prophecy operating as policy within our military. It's also taking place across government with the Trump administration, with this very disingenuous Religious Freedom Commission that he has impaneled, with this very dystopian so-called task force against Christian bias, anti-Christian bias, that is operating throughout the federal workforce as basically a right-wing culture cop. So much of this is happening outside of what the media talks about, outside of what most politicians talk about. But you're going to see me tackling this and confronting it in a very full-throated way. And thankfully, these days, I'm not alone. We've got a Congressional Free Thought Caucus that is now up to 33 members that is in this fight with me. We will hope that more people in the media, that more politicians, that more regular Americans will start to tune in to this very serious threat to our democracy, and the fact that you may not know it, but right now, extremists are enacting foreign policy, and in this case, life and death stuff involving war powers based on their interpretation of biblical prophecy. That is really an unthinkable and dangerous situation. More to come on this.
We Commandant drop out. Oh man. Okay, we got Commandant back. So like, yes, sir. So young man Dennis has a question. He said, I have a question. Does the U.S. space program called the Space Force, the new branch created, is it for the second coming of the Most High they're preparing? So like, sir, can you hear me?
Good, I hear you.
Okay. So young man Dennis asked if the Space Force is there for the second coming of Christ.
God, he gonna try to fight. He gonna try to fight Christ. He gonna
Right,
to fight
right.
Christ, the angels with that Space Force.
Right.
You can get that. You get that in Second Ezra, the 13th chapter.
Okay.
But let's keep going though. We'll pull it right now. But go ahead, Commandant, you got it.
Yeah, so like I said, I was gonna say did you play the whole video?
Khan, did you want me to replay it?
No, it's a while. I was gonna say, can you drop down to verse 24?
Khan. Matthew 25 and 4, was it 25 and
24 and 24?
24, all right. Matthew 24 and 24. For there shall arise false Christs. Salakia. All right, here we go. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets that shall shew great signs and wonders, and so much that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect.
Yeah, Khan. So we heard the man say that the troops are being told that this is prophetic, and that the Most High Himself anointed Donald Trump. You understand, and that it is a divine mission, and that's not neutral. That is the oppressor trying to deceive us, and that's deception. That in so much that it will convince the elect. The elect are Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You have Hispanics for Trump. They believe that Donald Trump is anointed by God, that he is Christ-like. You understand? And one thing, once again, he doesn't have to say that he's Christ. It doesn't have to come out of his mouth. All they have to do is let the world paint him like if he is, and then the people will just do the rest. They'll just follow Donald Trump and believe that he's sent and that he's been anointed by the Most High. But in reality, that is a curse for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to trust in a man. Right. To trust in the man instead of trusting in the Most High God. You understand? World War III is prophesied, but it is not prophesied for America to gain vengeance. It's Christ himself. And then he's going to set up a new kingdom for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to rule. I yield with that.
So like if I could, I found this video real quick. Check this out.
It would have it, Mark Fogel was born in a small rural town in Butler, Pennsylvania. Have you heard of it? Where his mother has lived for the past 78 years. I just happened to go there last July 13th for a rally. That was not pleasant. And that is where I met his beautiful mom right before I walked onto that stage. And I told her I would not forget what she said about her son. And I never did I? Never forgot. Less than 10 minutes later, at that same rally, gunfire rang out, and a sick and deranged assassin unloaded 8 bullets from his sniper's perch into a crowd of many thousands of people. My life was saved by a fraction of an inch, but some were not so lucky. Corey Comparator was a firefighter, a veteran, a Christian, a husband, a devoted father, and above all, a protector. When the sound of gunshots pierced the air, it was a horrible sound. Corey knew instantly what it was and what to do. He threw himself on top of his wife and daughters and shielded them from the bullets with his own body. Corey was hit really hard. You know the story from there. He sacrificed his life to save theirs. 2 others, very fine people, were also seriously hit. But thankfully, with the help of 2 great country doctors, we thought they were gone and they were saved. So those doctors had great talent. We're joined by Corey's wife, Helen, who was his high school sweetheart, and their 2 beloved daughters, Allison and Kaylee. Thank you. To Helen, Allison, and Kaylee, Corey is looking down on his 3 beautiful ladies right now, and he is cheering you on. He loves you. He is cheering you on. Corey was taken from us much too soon, but his destiny was to leave us all with a shining example of the selfless devotion of a true American patriot. It was love like Corey's that built our country, and it's love like Corey's that is going to make our country more majestic than ever before. I believe that my life was saved that day in Butler for a very good reason. I was saved by God to make America great again. I believe that.
So like, sir, so you heard what he said, right? He went and shouted out the I guess the firefighters that died that day. You know, that's their wives, and after all that, he said, "I was saved by God to make America great again." The only reason why I wanted to find that is because, you know, I was trying to find the footage where he says he was anointed by God. One thing that I want to bring out right in response to him or anyone else saying that Donald Trump was anointed by God to save, you know, to save America, to make, you know, to for whatever, you think he was anointed by God to lead? I got a scripture for y'all. And this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 17, verse 15. Let me go right there real quick. You know what I mean? We're going to see what the Bible says about who God anoints to lead a nation. For one thing that you Christians, you know, and white supremacists don't understand is that, for one, the Bible is not your book. You understand? You oppressors stole that Bible from the Israelites. You stole that Bible from us and went and took the culture for yourself. And then you think God is with America. You think God is with Donald Trump. Well, this is what Deuteronomy 17 and 15 says. Let me share it real quick.
You want to read that?
I got it, sir. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 17, verse 15. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. Right? So one thing we know that the Bible says is that God chooses the leader of that nation. And that nation is Israel. Is the United States Israel? No, it is not. Is God with the United States? No, he is not. God hates the United States. God hates America.
Right.
You understand? This is modern day Babylon. This is the place that he calls spiritually Sodom and Egypt. And you think he's with America? You think he chose Donald Trump? One God whom the Lord thy God shall choose, one from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. For you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that are Christians, right, that are Catholics, that are grateful that Donald Trump is in there. Is Donald Trump from among your brethren? No, he is not, because Donald Trump is not black, he's not Hispanic, and he's not Native American. As a matter of fact, the first time he ever ran for president, he demonized the raza. He demonized us. And then his second term in office, what did he do? He utilized ICE to terrorize our community. You understand? To terrorize our raza. So you damn well know that God did not set Donald Trump to be king over us, because Donald Trump is not from among our people. Thou shalt, one from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. Donald Trump is not thy brother, and Donald Trump is a stranger. He is not of our nation, and he is not our brother. So Donald Trump was never anointed by God. Donald Trump was never anointed by God, and God did not save Donald Trump to make America great again. Donald Trump was anointed by Satan, if y'all want to get down to it. That's who Donald Trump was anointed by. You understand? Donald Trump was anointed to be the wicked on the earth. That's who he is. Salakia. But that was it. I used. You know, I also found this video real quick that I want to play.
President Trump is defending his social media post of this AI-generated image.
I thought it was me as a doctor, and had to do with Red Cross.
Still, the post has been taken down. The White House has not said why. The Archbishop of Miami telling us,
I think the president is trying to walk it back and trying to put a different spin on it, which I think is a recognition on his part that he probably overstepped or went too far.
There was even swift backlash online from some of the president's MAGA coalition, who wrote, "God shall not be mocked," and there is no context where this is acceptable. The president today holding a photo op with a delivery driver who brought McDonald's to the White House to tout his no tax on tips policy. He was also pressed about the controversial image.
It's supposed to be me as a doctor making people better.
It all comes amid an escalating feud between the White House and the Vatican. Last week, Pope Leo with this rare call to action over the Iran war.
Contact the authorities, political leaders, congressmen, to ask them, tell them to work for peace and to reject war.
The president overnight posting, Pope Leo was terrible for foreign policy.
And I'm not a big fan of Pope Leo. He's a very liberal person.
The pontiff then responding to a question from NBC's Claudio Lavanga aboard the papal plane.
I have no fear of neither the Trump administration nor speaking out loudly about the message of the gospel. And that's what I believe. I am called to do.
Bishop Robert Barron, a Catholic and a member of President Trump's Religious Liberty Commission, posting he thinks the president owes the Pope an apology.
There's nothing to apologize for. He's wrong.
And with that, Gabe Gutierrez joins us tonight from the White House. And Gabe, late today, Vice President J.D. Vance weighed in on why the president took the post down.
Yeah, that's right, Tom. The vice president saying a short time ago in an interview that he thought the president was posting a joke. And that he took it down because he recognized that a lot of people were not understanding his humor. Tom.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.
An uncharacteristic move by.
So that was the backlash that he received, right, from the church calling him out, and that's interesting that he's actually going at it with the Pope. You understand? When they're both the same entity, they're both the same. How do you say it, sir? They're both, well, they're both the devil, Salakia.
They're both white. They're both devils.
Yeah, right. They're both devils. I mean, if anything, sir, what that shows, right, is that there is no brotherhood amongst the so-called white man. They don't know nothing of brotherhood, nothing of compassion, nothing of how do you say it? They oppress their own. You understand? They oppress their own. That's why they hate the Jewish man. Right, I done heard, how many times it's been broken down when I don't know if y'all watch those debates Camp Zariak does when he goes like on Killstream, or he'll debate some kind of white supremacist. The white supremacist always talks about a conspiracy from the Jewish man and that everyone has to team up with them to take down the Jewish man. When the Jewish man is their brother. And then Captain Zariak brought out that the only reason why they hate the Jewish man is because the Jewish man does not share in his spoils with them. You understand?
All right. You know what I'm saying? He trying to make America go fight their war.
Right.
I know they were mad 'cause they were saying there's not too many Israelis, on the front lines.
To imagine that.
They're gonna send everybody from the US to go fight and to go fight for Trump. And because he's saying that it's biblical prophecy,
right? And it is biblical prophecy, sir. It is, because it's the Antichrist, it's the false prophets, it's them going to war with each other and then going to the Valley of Jehoshaphat, right? That's all leading up to that. So maybe he's right, sir. That's Salakia.
Right.
But yeah, that's most. I'm trying to find, the Rasa's reaction, because I want to hear, find anything on the Rasa say, what they gotta say to it.
If not, we'll just move on to the next
the
next part. Yeah, man, but that war ain't got nothing to do with Hispanics. Ain't got nothing to do with Latinos.
Right.
Ain't got nothing to do with any of our people from Mexico or Central America. I know they were saying that I had read something where they were saying that that illegal immigrants have to have to enlist in the army or something like that. I'm gonna try to find that real quick. But it was something like that. Yeah, like you have to fight. You have to war break out. You got to join. You got to be a part of that military, the U.S. military.
Right. If I could, sir.
I think.
Oh, go ahead, sir.
Go ahead, sir. I was gonna say. I think recently he said that if he goes out and he helps out Cuba, that the Cubans would have to enlist and go fight in the war.
Imagine that. That's crazy. So you strip them of electricity, right? You strip them of their ability to power their own country, and then you're gonna come in and give them electricity, and in order for that, they got to go fight in your war, and they got to fight in your military, and they got to be expendable. Right. This is why they're the devil, Salakia, man. Like, imagine that, how cruel this oppressor is, man. Like, I don't know how any of y'all out there don't see this, man. How many of y'all don't understand and get offended when we bring the truth out.
Right.
You know, like if that image of Donald Trump as Jesus Christ isn't a wake up call for any of y'all out there, then I don't know what is, man. You understand? Christianity and Catholicism are religions of white supremacy. Let's be honest. You know, and all of a sudden now they want to claim that they're speaking out against the image. Now they're claiming that it's evil, man. Y'all just saying that. Y'all don't believe it though, man. Y'all happy that image is out there, man. How many of you Christians probably gonna have that image secretly up in your house? You know? Talk about it's evil, man. That's what y'all want. That's what y'all worship. And Donald Trump did not do that by accident. He knew exactly what that image was. He knew why it was put out. You know, he's probably the one that ordered it out. Now he's gonna lie because there's no truth in this oppressor. They can't help but lie, you know?
Right.
He sees himself as God. You understand? Donald Trump don't care about none of that. What was that one thing he said, sir, on the plane where he said he doesn't think he's going into heaven? He thinks that he's in heaven right now. Right? He said that on the plane.
Right.
So
no, yeah, he said that. Yep.
He don't, you know what I mean? He don't care about God or any of that. He's mocking you Christians is what he's doing. He's mocking the Pope. He's saying he's God. Because for y'all, you know, like for all you rats out there listening, right, and we're showing you the evil of Donald Trump, we're showing you the evil of Catholicism and Christianity. For any of y'all thinking that you should join America's military, well, here's where it segues. Look at this. Look at what else Donald Trump did, man. And allowed.
This week, the latest class of U.S. Marines will be finishing recruits aren't allowed to see their families that entire time. And now, because of Trump's war with Iran, many of them may be deployed thousands of miles from their loved ones right away, which is what makes this news all the more gut-wrenching. The Marine Corps told NBC News that ICE agents will be stationed outside graduation events for the nation's newest Marines to identify whether any of their family members are undocumented. Let that sit for a moment. This week, the latest class of U.S. Marines will be finishing basic training.
Okay, imagine that. Like that's the thank you for your service. And here's a news article.
According to the Marine Corps, ICE agents will be present outside graduation events for the nation's newest Marines to identify whether any attending family members are undocumented. Amid conflict in Iran, the Marine Corps has boosted protection measures on bases, requiring everyone to present real IDs, U.S. passports, or U.S. birth certificates to access any sites. For families who are visiting Marine Corps Recruit Depot at Parris Island in Beaufort, officials are urging all guests be ready for extra screening starting Wednesday ahead of Friday's graduation. Those without proper documents may be questioned by ICE officials. A DHS spokesperson says any suggestion that ICE would make arrests was false. It's not clear whether ICE will be at the gate to Parris Island for the foreseeable future or whether the ICE involvement could expand to other bases.
Man, I mean, if you're Latino, you're a Marine, that should be your wake up call right there. You know,
right, sir.
They were there trying to look for your aunt, your uncle, cousin, whatever. And knowing the way Hispanics are, the way Latinos are, they would want to show up,
right,
something like that, because to them that's a major achievement. You know, to see like their nephew, son, you know what I'm saying, become a Marine. You know, Latinos take pride in things like that.
Right.
So that would be something that they would want to show up to. But if you're the brother that became a Marine, graduated, and you see ICE agents there looking for your aunt, uncle, brother, whatever, that should make you think like, damn, like, am I really gonna give my loyalty and my service to this country? You know, when they're targeting my aunt and my uncle, like at that point, you should really choose your side. You should really think like, okay, you know what? Even though I want to be a Marine, I should give my service to my family. You know, I should serve by my aunt, my uncle, help my aunt, uncle, and cousins out. You know, not the country that's trying to harm your family, harm your loved ones. But what would you have done if they would have took in your aunt? On like if your uncle would have went to that graduation and they took your uncle, what would you have done? How would that have made you feel to see them take your uncle like that?
Right.
You know, that just shows you that you fighting on the wrong side. You know,
Right,
you're
sir.
fighting for the wrong people.
Right.
You know, to them, you're just a number. You're just someone that's going to get sent to a whole different country, possibly get unalived, and then get forgotten.
Right.
You know, why don't you just bring honor to your own people over here? You know, fix
Right.
your
Right.
people over here. We didn't Jeremiah say that like you fighting for a war on the other side of the world when there's a war going on over here
Right.
in your city. In your city, there's a war going on. They're taking your mom and
Right.
your uncle. They're taking your
Right.
pops and your grandfather and your grandmother. Taking your sons and your daughters, putting them inside cages. And who knows what the hell is going on inside those ICE detention centers? We hear about it, but we only hear about the things that they're putting out there. We don't know, like, we don't fully understand on what's happening behind those doors, you know? So you shouldn't give your service to the U.S. The U.S. is military. You should give your service to the Latinos that are here right now, the Latinos that are in your neighborhood, because there's a lot of kids that need your help. You know, there's a lot of kids that need heroes.
Right, sir.
You know, America already done got all their heroes, but we need heroes.
Right.
You know, the brother down the street, the brother down the block, the brother that's battling drug addiction. You know, the brother that's lost in the gang lifestyle, or the brother that's getting led astray by the Christian pastor. Them brothers need heroes.
Right, sir.
You know, so it's on us, you know, to serve our people here. You know, not in the Middle East, in Iran and Iraq and Afghanistan. You know, that doesn't help us. That doesn't help our people. We need to be right here helping out our own raza, you know, our own people. And
Right,
our
sir.
people are Mexicans and Central Americans, South Americans, you know, Black people, Native Indians. That's our people, and then they need our help. They need our guidance. They need us. They need our loyalty.
Right.
You know? Most likely. Go ahead.
So, like, sir, I found this real quick. This was circulating not too long ago. You know, since we was talking about ICE and ICE detention centers, right? And let me read this article. It says, LULAC, you know, this is from the site LULAC. Royer Perez Jimenez, a 19-year-old, died March 16th while in ICE custody at Glades County Detention Center in South Florida. Rogelio was arrested on January 21st after allegedly crossing multiple lanes of traffic without using the crosswalk while riding a scooter. ICE says he was found unresponsive and that the death was a presumed suicide. The official cause remains under investigation. 11 people have died in ICE custody in 2026 through early March after 31 deaths in 2025. In 2022, 17 members of Congress called for it to be closed. So this is everything, you know. I don't know if there's video. It says, you know, he was 16 years old. I says staff found him unresponsive around 2:30 a.m. on March 16th. Fire rescue arrived about 10 minutes later, and he was pronounced dead at 2:51 a.m. What officials say, ICE described the death as a presumed suicide. The official cause of death remains under investigation. Rogelio was arrested for crossing over multiple lanes on a scooter. They figured he needed to be deported. Why Glades is under scrutiny? Miami New Times reports the facility has faced abuse allegations for years. In 2022, 17 members of Congress called for it to be closed. the larger context, 11 people have died in ICE custody in 2026 through early March after 31 deaths in 2025. And so why this matters, a death in custody raises urgent questions about detention conditions, mental health care, oversight, and accountability. You know, and then back at like there was this and I think we covered this one right about the officer that was, you know, raping women in there. This is him right here. You know,
I mean, that's not surprising. Like, you know what I'm saying? That because that's what white people do.
right.
You know, what about I would think, what about the Hispanics that work in the same ICE detention center with him?
Right.
You know, like
Here's another one.
When would it be enough? Like, what do you got? What do y'all got to see for y'all to be like, man, this is too much right here. Like, I'm on the wrong side.
Right.
You know, you hear about things that are happening in these detention centers with the ICE agents. Hear about Donald Trump and the Epstein files, the war in the Middle East. That's, you know what I'm saying, which is seconds away from you getting sent out there. Like, when are you gonna draw the line and be like, man, that's it? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Let me go ahead and throw away this ICE uniform. Let me go ahead and throw away this badge. You know, and I owe my people an apology for choosing the wrong side.
Right.
You know.
Right, sir. But yeah, that's what's going on. I don't want, like, you know, you're seeing all that, and it's, you know, like, what more y'all need to see that this oppressor is the devil? You know, that's your Jesus right there. That's what he's doing. You understand? And this is throughout history. This has happened, man. Throughout histories, man. I'm gonna look up something real quick. Look at what I just wanted to type this in real quick, right? And look at this, sir. Officer Thaba One actually brought this out when he was doing that debate with that Catholic cat. Since we're gonna talk about religion, right, and faith and all that.
On a gray April Sunday, the Road to Healing tour stops at a gathering hall on the Tulalip Indian Reservation in Washington. The welcome song opened a day-long session in which those connected to past Indian boarding schools shared a drumbeat of often difficult personal stories.
It's all about testifying today and supporting our boarding school survivors and honoring those who never made it home.
I'm really happy to be here. Good morning, everyone.
The Interior Department Secretary Deb Haaland has made it her mission to seek the truth behind what happened at more than 400 federal and religiously run schools in 37 U.S. states over 150 years, up until the late 1960s.
My ancestors, many of you, employed tours of Indian boarding school assimilation policies carried out by the same department that I now lead. I will grieve with you, I will weep, and I will feel your pain.
An investigative report released by her department last year documents the systematic effort to rob Indigenous students of their identities, their culture. In many cases, children were torn from their families, forced to adopt English names rather than their Indian ones, and forced to stop speaking their native languages. The schools were run military style with forced labor. Physical and psychological abuse of children was widespread.
In the dormitories, of course, the kids will be crying because they're lonesome with their parents. Sometimes the priest who shared a little room off the side there would get disturbed about that. He would come out with his belt, pick up a kid off the bed and whack him for crying. Of course, when you're 6 years old and you see that, you get scared. You start holding things in.
Only now are stories like these coming to light.
There was a lot of things I seen, a lot of things I learned,
A lot of things I don't want to remember. I'm 99 years old and I'm still healing yet. And it's hard. It's very hard.
The Federal Indian Boarding School Initiative is aimed at addressing that trauma and creating an oral history of those schools.
Our federal records alone can't tell the whole story. We need more. And so we need to hear from you.
We thank you, Madam Secretary, for coming and being the ears to hear the stories. It's time for all of us to heal together.
That road from acknowledgement to healing will be a long journey, but it's finally underway. Hendrik Sabrandi, CGTN, Marysville, Washington.
Like, so then I found this, right? Found this from years back. Man, there's so many articles on this, but that's the whole, issue with the faith. Like, Donald Trump is the representation of that entity that did the abuse and all those things. I don't want,
No, most definitely, man. And remember that the Catholic Church is the one that did that.
Right.
Those priests and the nuns and all that. They got them kids, they got our people, and you know what I'm saying, and took our culture away from us.
Right.
That shows you that those were Native Americans that they were doing that to. They did that to Mexicans as well.
Right. Concert.
And I'll tell you this, y'all want to see a movie? It's a movie that we all have seen. Your so-called Chicano, right? Has anybody ever seen American Me?
Right.
Go check out American Me, and go look at the very beginning during the Zutu riots. Remember when they beat up Santana? They take him out of the tattoo shop.
Right.
They take him out of the tattoo shop. They beat him up. While he's on the floor, they get a pair of scissors and they start cutting his hair.
Right.
And that happened in the early 1900s, but that's something they've done to us for hundreds of years. Of taking away our culture, making us cut our hair, making us speak English. They put the Native Americans inside those boarding schools, and then they put us inside those missions.
Right.
You got these missions all over California. I believe it's like 12. I forgot how many missions there are. But you had Junipero Serra. You know what I'm saying? A Catholic. What is he? A Catholic bishop, priest, whatever they call him. And he was unaliving Indians in those missions left and right. You know what I'm saying? He was just as bad as Hitler.
Good night.
And they tried to make him a saint. That's what the Catholic Church tried to make him, a saint.
Man.
But he was unaliving Native Indians left and right in California, inside those missions. And to think about it, remember this: if you're from Cali, when you were a kid, you were taught to build missions in grade school.
Right.
You were taught to build those missions, and they were a place of like a church.
Right.
Right now, they're like little tourist areas. You go in there, you see the mission, and they try to make it, like I said, they try to make it like a church. But a lot of our people died inside those missions, and in those missions, a lot of our people were, what do you call it? They were stripped of their culture, stripped of their identity,
detribalized.
That's another word I'm looking for. But like I'll say stripped.
Assimilated.
God, that's where they were beating us, unaliving us, cutting our hair, making us speak English or Spanish. So I made us speak Spanish, rosaries, the white image of Christ. You know what I'm saying? That's where we lost our culture.
Right.
And what I'm pointing out is that the Native Americans, Mexicans, and Central Americans, we have the same oppressor. You know what they did to the Native Americans, what they did to the Mexicans and Central Americans. They did the same exact thing.
Right, sir.
Right.
I have this video right here. I don't want.
Except one oppressor spoke English and the other one spoke Spanish.
Right.
You know, go ahead, Malama.
Check this out, sir.
Although Mexico has more than 74 million Catholics, being the second most Catholic country in the world, not all of this region's believers have faith in their church. This sentiment is also felt by the estimated thousands of victims of sexual abuse by Catholic priests here in Mexico. The victims who speak out say the church's influence is intertwined with state power, making impunity rampant.
Unfortunately, the judicial systems are not designed to provide us victims with sufficient support against these crimes, and it's worse when it has to do with members of the clergy who are generally corrupt just like those in the government.
Although the church's Pope Francis sent a letter last week to the institution's bishops declaring that there is no place for those who conceal clerical child abuse, rights defenders argue that the Pope's calls are only superficial.
These measures do not correspond to a no-tolerance policy against clerical pedophilia. Instead, they worsen the pain of the victims, and they do not generate institutional processes which would allow for truth and justice.
Rights groups in the Americas are building an international network so as to help victims denounce abuse, as well as bring cases to criminal courts outside of the church. Victims and rights defenders say that to ultimately end pedophilia in the church will take much more than the political will of the Pope, but rather fundamental systemic changes to the Vatican.
Good night.
Telesur, Mexico City.
Good night. You heard that, I don't want.
What's that? They're gonna take some systematic changes?
Yeah, it's yeah, right. Yeah, not even the Pope can, right. The Pope can't even stop it. Right. The Pope can't even stop it, is basically what they're saying.
It's not the Pope can't stop it. It's like he doing the same shit in there.
Right.
You know
right. But even if he wanted to, he can't even stop it. That's at least that's what I heard. Good night, man. Like that, you know, just as you showed, sir, like that's what, you know, that's the whole entity, man. Why do you think Trump, once again, Trump depicted himself as that image, and Trump is on the Epstein file? This is the spirit of the Catholic Church and of Donald Trump, of the and that's the faith and the politics and the power, man. And Raza, you know, the Latino faith that's behind it, right? Like they said, Mexico's the second largest country with the highest, what is it? Mexico's the second country with the highest Catholic following, you know? So that's what's, you know, like, it's sad, man. It's sad that, like, with all that, we still, you know, will be up in.
And you gotta think about this too. If you're Latino, if you're Mexican, you're Salvadorian, Guatemalan, you know, Central American, what has the Catholic Church done for you? You know, you were taught to be a Catholic from the time you were born. You know, you have the rosaries, they do your communion, you get baptized, but none of that changes you. You're the same person, you know. And it's like even like the gangbangers, to the crackhead, to the child molester, you know, you know, you guys all believe the same thing, which is, you know, the baptism, the rosaries, you know, the whole thing of doing this. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything for you. You're still the same person. You still got evil in you. You know, like you really don't believe in Christ or follow Christ.
Right, sir.
You follow the teachings of the bishop, of the Catholic priest. But that cat is probably just as more wicked than you. You know, but you gotta look at the fruits of the Catholic Church. And the Catholic Church has evil fruit. It has bad fruit. You know, corruptible fruit. And it doesn't change who you are. And come on, man. Like, if you Latino, like, we all know that. We all know that following that church doesn't help you doesn't help you become a better person.
Right.
It's just a bunch of traditions that we follow, from the whole thing of putting ash on your forehead to just, like I said, doing this thing. It doesn't stop you from doing something evil.
Right, sir.
You know, and of course, remember all the graping that goes on inside that church.
Right,
You
right.
know, all the graping that goes on in that church. That should make you think, like, man, I don't think this is the house of God right here. I don't think God or Christ dwells inside this church because of all the graping that goes on in here. And if it doesn't happen in your church, you know it happens in other churches. You know?
Right.
That's why it's time for us to leave the Catholic Church. You know? We got to leave the Catholic Church. The idols that you have in your house doesn't stop the graping inside your house. Doesn't stop your uncle from graping your niece and your nephew. You know? The white Jesus, the rosary, doesn't stop that from happening.
Right.
You know, and this too, and you know about the graping that has in your church, or that has happened inside the church, right? And yet your people still want to go to the church, even though they know about it.
Right.
You know, I done heard about that. You know, I done heard about something happened inside the church, and then you tell someone what happened, and they'll be like, oh, well, that happened a couple years ago. That's not happening anymore. You know, you got to let go of that mentality. If someone's getting graped inside that church, man, you got to be like, oh, hell no. We got to stop going there. You going to take your kids to that church knowing that someone got graped in there? Man. But that's how brainwashed our people are.
Right.
But go ahead, Malatma or Kamada.
Oh, you got him, Malatma?
No, go ahead, sir. No sweat. I'm looking up stuff right as we're going. I found this, sir.
Real quick too. Like, y'all want to just we talked about this before. You can look up Luz del Mundo. Luz del Mundo is a mega church inside Mexico. And man, it's a whole scandal that happened in that church. The leader of the church is talking about he's the Apostle Paul or the Apostle Peter, and he's back, and it's a whole cult. And all kinds of kids were getting, I think they were getting unalived and raped inside that church.
Very nice. You said Luz del Mundo, Ottawa? So like, sir, just I wanted to share this real quick because I came across this right now.
Okay.
I know you heard about this real quick. It's a little bit, different topic, but just figure we share this.
From the 4th District Police Station on Monday. Officers say that this was a suicide, but families and neighbors say that this are certainly pushing back on that notion. Randy Hildreth is checking it out for us tonight. She joins us.
Yeah, good evening to you, Larry. So here's the thing. This rally started at the 4th District or 40 precinct down the street. I want to whip the camera around this way so that you can see that this transformed from a rally to now a march down Georgia Avenue. And the crowd has certainly grown. Started at about 20 people, but you can see it's well more than that. And as you mentioned, the crowd is concerned about the death of a 19-year-old man and how it is being investigated. Sadly, he was found hanging from a tree limb Monday, a few blocks from the 4D precinct. Now, MPD is awaiting a medical examiner's report, but said it's investigating this as a suicide. WUSA 9 did get a chance to speak with the young man today who said that he has struggled, but they want another look into this investigation because they say that even though he struggled with certain things, he did contact his family when he was going through things. I want to show you again just a live look of this rally and this now march. It was organized by DC Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression, helped organize this. Some of the community members also raised concerns about the time it took for police to alert the community of what's going on. We will continue to follow this rally. Not sure where it will end, but we'll keep you updated. I'll send it back to you live tonight. Randy Hildreth, WUSA 9.
Demonstrating sad.
Like, so you see that, like, with all that going on, right? a brother was found hanging from a tree. And this was just recent. And the police tried to cover it up for 3 days, right? And then we just had the story of the brother found in the ICE detention center, you know, that supposedly committed a suicide, but he was also found unalive, like hung. I'm assuming he was found hung in the detention center. So what's really going on out there, Adawan, you know? That is like, you know, makes you wonder. Go ahead, sir.
I mean, I've seen stories like this already. Like, you know, you had one in Palmdale. Yeah, it happened a couple years ago, but you found two Hispanic brothers hanging in Palmdale.
Right.
You know, but you know, like that's something that has happened for, you know, hundreds of years. You know, we've gone over the Latino lynchings before. We've gone over that a couple of times where, you know, our people were getting hanged all over Cali, Texas, Nevada, Arizona.
Right.
The point is this, like Latinos, you have to understand that the white man is the devil. That's what you have to understand. And the reason why you can't see it is because you go to church. That's the whole reason why you can't see that the white man is the devil.
Right.
That's the whole reason why you're blinded to everything is because you go to church. So if you were to leave the church, it'll be easier for you to take this in, to get this medicine and heal yourself.
Right. So, like, sir, back to the other thing, right, with La Luz del Mundo. 2 days ago, something came out about him. The only thing is it's in Spanish. Let me see if I can get subtitles.
Go ahead, just break it down. Just you know, break down what's going on.
Come.
We're you know, we're gonna clip it in a bit. So just
come. We'll do this last one.
Incomprensible, la Fiscalía General de la República cerró la investigación contra Nason Joaquín y la Iglesia La Luz del Mundo por acusaciones que van desde pornografía infantil hasta abuso de menores. Todos esos delitos se cometieron en México y también en Estados Unidos. Y Joaquín y varios integrantes de su familia y de la propia organización, bueno, están ya condenados por una corte por esos delitos. Pero aquí en México, donde ocurrieron muchas de esas violaciones y abusos sexuales, bueno, ya quedaron prácticamente con una carpeta cerrada.
Hay otro proceso iniciado en una corte de Nueva York por estos y otros delitos. Es una acusación incluso mucho.
So talking about the scandal with the abuse, right? That was this I forgot this man's name, but he was caught with child pornography and then, you know, allegations of sexual abuse. You know, he was one of the predators in there.
You talking about this guy right here?
Yeah, that cat right there, and that
this Joaquin.
Joaquin, right? That's what you're talking about, and that he did a lot in Mexico and in the United States, you know. And this is a guy. You're the one saying. Is he the one that said he's Paul reincarnated? Right? Is that what you said earlier, sir?
It was something like that. He's the Paul. He might be saying he's Christ, but it's
good night, man.
Yeah.
Good night, Adawan. You know. But yeah, that's what's going on in Salah.
Más amplia, que involucran directamente a Joaquín y otros miembros de la Iglesia Luz del Mundo. Pruebas existen y muchas contra este sujeto que el juez que lo castigó en Los Ángeles calificó como un depredador sexual que utilizaba la religión para abusar de niñas y mujeres. Este sujeto, para la luz del mundo, sigue siendo.
So right, he was found guilty out here in LA, right? And the judge said that he was caught, you know, being a predator on young women, you know, and young girls. So that, you know, that's the whole thing with La Luz del Mundo. It's a 25-minute long video, so of course, like, yeah, I don't, you know.
No, it's all good. But this is the point, though. This is the church. It's a mega church.
Right.
You know, that a lot of people, okay. There's a Luz del Mundo church about 10 minutes away from the school that in San Bernardino. You remember that, Latman Kamada? They have a church down the street.
Yeah, Con.
You know, And the thing is that with our people, like when we say that Christ is black, oh man, that's it. They're like, oh no, you're like you going way off with that. Of course, in Spanish.
Right.
Like, to
Right.
them, that's like, oh, what the, like, you know, Christ is black. Christ had Joseph had sex with Mary. We're God's chosen people, and Christ only loves us. When we say
Right.
those things to them, it's like, man, like, you know, you guys are racist. You know, they'll probably even say that word like devil worshippers or something like that.
Man.
But at the same time, this is who they follow.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they'll follow somebody like this. And look, you can look this up too. There's still people defending him. And of course, it's our people still defending him. They're saying that he's going through persecution, that they're lying on him. You know, it doesn't click to their head that they're in the wrong place. You know what I mean? Like this cat is a pedophile.
Right.
You know? And I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of girls testifying against him, saying like he, you know, molested me, touched me, women and girls.
Right.
And yet there's still some of our people defending him.
Concert.
So, like,
You know what I mean? Go ahead, coming up.
it was crazy to me because when I read about the story, like it said that they were showing up to his court of dates, you know, and they were justifying, you know, guilty. How do they say? Not something until proven guilty.
Innocent until proven
Whatever
guilty.
that slogan. There you go.
Innocent
until proven guilty. Like they, like they were still in their minds, like this man is innocent after all the victims. You know, because they also said in a news clip that Malakma is showing, it said that he abused, you know, young girls and also women. So I'm pretty sure, you know, this man's over here breaking up marriages, you know, destroying families. He's you know what did Christ said, ye of your father the devil.
Father the devil.
And
right.
It's so crazy to me that people still will defend him and look to him as a leader. Like that is diabolical.
Right. Diabolical, man.
Slacky. Like, imagine how he looked inside church. You know he got the suit and the tie on.
Right.
You know he got the suit and the tie. You know he probably had a big church.
Right.
And that's why what that scripture say where it says, beware of wolves in sheep clothing.
Ravaging wolves.
Right. And inside they're ravening wolves.
Right.
On the outside, like our people thought, oh, this is a good pastor right here. Look at the way he's dressed. He's well dressed. The way he talks, you know, he probably gave a good sermon.
Right.
And our people were easily deceived. You know, and look what happened.
Right.
Your kids got hurt because you followed him.
Right.
And remember, this is not just Luz del Mundo. This shit happened down the street from your house.
Right.
Inside that local church you go to.
Right.
You know, I remember I remember when I worked with a sister, right? This was a couple years ago. And I remember she was telling me that she was Jehovah's Witness. And that the pastor, let me see, the pastor or the teacher was texting her like at 11 o'clock
Good
at night.
That's good night, man.
I don't know how he got her number, but he's texting her at 11 o'clock at night. You know, and this how it was consistent to what she told her parents, and the parents told her like just to like, you know, maybe he just wants to talk. I don't know what the fuck.
What the hell? Oh, hell no, man.
But I remember what I remember from that conversation is she started to hate the Jehovah's Witness.
Right.
You know, she started hating the religion and the church, stopped going, and they looked at her like she was a rebel, you know, and that she was falling away from God, falling away from the church. You know, that's the way they made her look. So the point that I'm making is that, like, this is not just Luz del Mundo. This is your local church that you go to, that this should happen to, that this can happen to you. You know, and the reason, because the reason is because you're looking at the church, how big the church is. You know, how big the church is and how the people look inside. But remember
Right.
when Christ was saying, like, beware, you know, look out, watch out for people in sheep's clothing, meaning what? They look harmless. You know,
Right.
you look at this cat, you look harmless. He look nice. He looks approachable. He looks like someone you can follow. But inside, they're wolves.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what we gotta look. That's
Right.
what we gotta watch out for, man. And then
Right.
remember, we get heat because we wear lokes, because we wear headbands and meat trees and wearing all black and studs and boots and braids and shields of David.
Right.
That shield of David, man. They're like, oh, you got the Star Red fan. You know, you got the Satanic Star or some shit. You know,
Right.
excuse my language. Oh, you guys are in all black, and you know, you guys are Satanists. You guys look like a biker gang. You guys look like a biker gang with Bibles.
Right.
You know,
Right.
you guys are screaming. You
You
guys are
yell on
too,
street corners.
you guys are too militant. You know, that was the
Right.
kind of things that we hear all the time.
Right. Right.
You know, you guys are training.
You're too
And,
rough.
and they look at us like we're, you know, like we're crazy.
Right.
But you come to class, man, you're gonna meet some real brothers. That's what's gonna happen. You're gonna come in here and you're gonna find out, like, damn, like, these brothers are not. I should not have listened to my mom about what they said about you. I should not have listened to listen to my wife, you know, when she said these things about you, because, man, you gonna find out, man, we some real brothers in here, you know.
Right.
But you ain't gonna find out unless you walk through that door, unless you stop by the school, you know. You gonna find out you gonna fuck around being a skid, you know.
Right.
It's like, go ahead. I'm gonna pass the next brother.
So like I said, if I could, like, it's crazy because we'll be the first one to protect, you know, our brothers and sisters, even you know, they're out in the world. But you know, that's how you know they're under a strong delusion, because you said that she went to her parents and her parents are supposed to be her protection, and her parents are under a strong delusion. You know, they don't even know that they're under that they're under the influence of that, you know, that drug, that Christian, you know, that's what we say, you know, Christianity is a drug, a hell of a drug, because they don't even know that they're justifying the wickedness that this man, you know, what is he doing, calling her at 11 at night, you know,
Right.
and to justify, oh, maybe is this, maybe is that. It's like they're making her more vulnerable than she already is. You understand? Like, the parents should be like, wait a minute, let me go ask him, what are you doing calling my daughter at 11 at night? Like, go you know, instead of going to confront them, they make excuses for him to call her late night and, you know, what have you. You understand? And you know, sometimes, like, nowadays our parents don't even have our best interest in mind. They have that, you know, the spiritual leaders' best interest in mind. Like, that is, you know, again,
Wow, man. Diabolical.
Hold on, I got one more for y'all. I remember I got a cousin, right? He's one of his teenagers, like 15, 16. He went to a private school, private Seventh-day Adventist church. Private Seventh-day Adventist school. Right? Those are not cheap. My aunt was dropping a lot of money to make sure he went to that good school, supposedly.
Right.
Right. And my cousin's 16 years old, man. You know, he started smoking weed. You know, getting high before class, you know, going to school high. I think smoking weed at the school, and they kicked him out. And the thing is that they never gave him a solution. They never reached out to help him with the problem that he had. It was just
Right.
like you just getting kicked out. And I remember like the conversations, like, damn, that's kind of messed up that they just kicked him out and didn't offer any type of help. You know,
Right.
he's
Right.
like, do we gonna take your what $1,000 or $1,500? You're out of the school, you're expelled, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you someone that believes in Christ, you should be helping that cat. You should help that kid.
Right.
If you got a drug problem, help him out. What is it? What's the issue that you have? You have a problem with marijuana and weed? All right, let's help you out. Let's give you a solution.
Right.
Let's
Right.
help you out, and you know what I'm saying? Let's get you off that drug. Let's get you off your addiction. But they didn't even do that. You know what I'm saying? They just threw him out the school, and then that was it. And that left everybody confused. Like, damn, just like that, you know. All it took was one. He got caught once and threw his ass out.
Man,
And that was an eye opener for a lot of people in my family. Like, damn, that's fucked up because of how long they have been going to the church
right.
and to that
Right.
school. And it was one mess up, and they just threw his ass out. You know, but it's like, go ahead. Let me pass the next brother.
But so like I said, the crazy part about that is that the spiritual leader will mess up more than one time, and they won't even kick him out. You understand? They wouldn't say, hey, you know what, we gotta throw him out, man. He can't be leading us. You understand? They'll go make excuses for whatever he's doing, or they're lying on him, you know, what have you, and you know that's insane.
That's crazy, man. Also, Karatas, I said they don't love the people; they love the money, right? They think gain is godliness, you know. But still, like you, sir, I know we at the time, man, and it's, you know, I don't know if there's anything else brothers want to add or drop.
I'm good to go. I'm go ahead. I'm coming out. You got it.
No, I'm too well, sir.
Okay.
You got it.
No sir. Well, you know that's basically, you know, that concludes tonight's episode. Raza, you know, of course, as y'all saw, we demonstrated, you know, or showed examples of what the Catholic and Christian Church have done to the Raza, have done to our indigenous brothers and sisters. You know, the abuses they do, the wild things they teach, right? How politics, how Trump sees himself as God and thinks he has power, and how he's prideful. He thinks he can't be touched. He thinks he's anointed by God. You know, the politicians have you in a holy war against Iran and against, you know, these other nations. So right now, Raza, the best advice is that y'all get out of that Catholic Church, get out of that Christian Church. Do not join their military. As you see, they have ICE at Marine Corps graduations. You know, this oppressor in the system doesn't keep you safe. That's why a poor brother was found hanging, you know, hung by a tree. Our people are dying in ICE detention centers. We're not safe in this country, Raza. Let's just put it that way. We're not safe anywhere. The only way we'll be safe is that we come back to our God and serve the God of our forefathers, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? We come back to our culture and identity, which is the children of Israel, keeping those laws, statutes, and commandments, man. So right now, Raza, it's high time to wake out of sleep, man. And it is time that y'all come back to your true identity and culture, man. You're not indigenous. You're not black. You're not Mexican. You're not Salvadorian. You're not native. You're not, you know, Jamaican, Haitian, all that. Those are all bywords that were put on us, man. I know a lot of y'all out there, especially the haters, man. Y'all think this is something negative, man. You think a danza circle is gonna make everything better, man. But you know, how many danza circles you gonna do and nothing's changing? You understand? All that you think what we believe is ridiculous and wild because it comes from the white man. You're gonna find out whatever you follow and whatever you want comes from the white man. You understand? But what doesn't come from the white man, what doesn't come from this oppressor, is how we love one another, man. It's how we treat one another. It's the brotherhood, the carnalismo, man. And that's what's gonna change things, man. And that's how the only way you could learn true carnalismo is in here, man. So I'd advise y'all to get in class, man. pay your tithes, and as Officer Kamada has been bringing out, wake your goddamn game up, man. But with that, man, Lord Allah, we'll be back at it again next week, man. You know, and cover more topics pertaining to the raza. And you know, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, kind of. I was gonna say that's Officer Regalia in the spirit of Officer Regalia. But I do want to warn brothers and sisters who, no sweat. But I do want to warn brothers and sisters that feel, justified because, Donald Trump portrays himself as Christ, that he, because social media or the news outlets are saying that he's anointed by God himself, and you feel that war, that justifies war, and they join, the war to go fight Iran or what have you, right? But one thing that you must do, you have to question and check if it actually lines up with the biblical records. If they're going to say that, this is divine prophecy and that, Donald Trump is anointed by God himself, you're going to have to check if it actually lines up with the biblical records.
Right.
And you're not going to, there's only one place on earth that you could check. And that is in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge.
That's right.
Come to us, ask your questions. You understand? And not only are we going to tell you the truth, we're also going to give you the solution, because we know you're really afraid of going to war. We know that you just would rather get high, and we're gonna help you defeat both demons. We're gonna help you defeat that fear that you have. Also, we're gonna defeat that drug addict demon that you have on you. You understand? That's all I want to say, Malakma.
No sweat. Go ahead. Anything, Officer Lahab?
Man, that's it, man. This is the inconvenient truth. Make sure you tap in with us next week, next Saturday. We're gonna do it again, 9 o'clock. You got any questions, reach out. And with that being said, shalom, man. Y'all be safe out there. Shalom, Yahweh, Shem, Yahweh, Shai, Brakathum.
Orale. With that, man, Yahweh, Shai, to the canales. Yahweh, Shema, Hashem, Yahweh, Shai, to the mujeres. Lord, we'll be back at it again next week. Orale, raza. Shalom.
All right.
What we on, sir? Okay, so right now, we out here feeding the people. Commander Jayhana is providing free tacos for the people out here. We just hand out flyers, man. Flyers and tacos out here. Right. That's right. What we on, sir? Okay, so now we out here feeding the people.
Where the soldiers at? Where the black men get together by the thousands and say,
Jehová, tu Dios, te ha escogido para hacerle un pueblo especial. Jehová, tu Dios, te ha escogido para hacerle un pueblo especial. Un pueblo. No está hablando de los chinos, no está hablando de los árabes, no está hablando de los japoneses, de nosotros. Nosotros somos la gente más odiada en este mundo, más odiada. Y toda la gente de